with the left hand doing a trill. Probably go like that's about like average speed. Some people do it way faster, some people not as fast, whatever, it doesn't matter. But I managed to bring this one around and get it in between. So when it's going, it becomes just a blur of notes.
Right.
I stop, halt is a thing, and then we do that.
Oh, wait a second. Could you slow that down
Sure,
and break that down a bit for us?
Because it's really easy. There's nothing to it, really. It's very simple. A lot of times you see stuff go by fast, you think, oh, it's impossible, I'll never. But it's all so simple. It's almost embarrassing for me to show it because there's really nothing to it. That's basically all there is to it. So you're just taking the same move and just kind of moving it around within the framework of the key that you're in. Then, next string. Then.
You almost have to be in two places at one time, though, don't you?
Yeah, because a lot of what passes for speed and agility is just basically the ability for one finger to get out of the way of the other one so it can do its thing. Because I'm never ever going any faster than, my fingers don't move any faster than for hammering on. So when you see, a lot of notes are going by, but it's not a lot of movement. The actual movement I'm doing is not a lot of hand movement, but it's just a coordination of the two. It becomes kind of a natural flow to it. And when you slow it down and take your time and really do it slow, strong, so all the notes are even. When you speed it up, it becomes just kind of like turning on a faucet. It really kind of flows. Stuff like that.
Wasn't there a phrase in Addicted to That Rush after the solo that you talked about once as far as a good one to develop strength?
Yeah, the second one, when Paul and I do the second part of it,
that's the one, yeah.
It's really hard because for guitar players, the strings are lighter, and it's a lot easier to just kind of roll off the strings, and a lot of sound comes up. For bass, you really gotta pull off that note there, which is kind of tough. Oof, there's that note again.
It's built into the bass.
There you go.
You know, that occurs to me that you're using shapes again.
Exactly. Now, all the stuff I said earlier about shapes applies here. G major, which is the key we're in. And then I forget what chord it goes to from there, but that's basically
Let's go back to the chorus.
It goes into the...
Right.
But,
which reminds me, you are also known for using chords a lot.
Yeah.
So you just played a couple. Could you tell us a little bit about the chords?
Yeah, when I'm playing
style you've developed.
Yeah, when I'm playing live all the time, instead of just hitting a really hard part that's gonna hit an A note, I always hit the whole as many A notes as there are on the bass. Why not? Because I've always played like 3-piece bands, and as much noise, as much sound you can get in there, go for it. So a lot of endings, instead of just a big, instead of that, hit the whole thing. As many notes that work in E as possible. So that helps to kind of bring a 3-piece band, an extra invisible guy along. So for bass, as many chords as there are on any other instrument. Only going to have to work with 4 notes. So the basic major, minor, suspended, and then any variation thereof. But understand with the bass, to play a chord on it, you're going to have to really to stick with with fifths and octave sounding things, because you get into these that's not going to work really loud with a super bass amp. It's going to shake all over the place. It's not going to really work. unless you're playing by yourself and it's quiet or something like that. So you have to always temper the idea of using an unusual chord or something with the idea of, is it really practical, useful, and does it sound good?
Right.
Rather than trying to think, oh, technically it works, so I'll do, you know, it doesn't always work. And when you're out in the audience watching and you don't know anything about bass or guitar, you just hear something where, you know, somebody looks at each other and goes, this doesn't sound good. They don't know why, you know,
Yeah.
but it's just because you have to temper that with a little bit of, what is that, taste? Something
Like that. Now, how did your solo bass, the bass solo you actually play, evolve?
Well, we used to do a song, Mr. Big, we used to play. Did that song by Free in
Right.
Palace in the old band. And he used to have this real I'd be playing. I would hit that note though. And it's just a little bass solo in between those
Yeah.
changes. So one night I told the guys before I went on stage, it was at the Poorhouse West in Hamburg, New York. And I told him before we went, I said, look, when we get to that part, Mr. Big, I'll just look over, I go, 2, 3, 4, and just stop dead, and I'll just go.
They'll lay out completely.
And
You'll
stop.
just keep going.
And then I'll cue you to come back in. It was like, oh, here we go. This is 1972, maybe, or 3. And sure enough, I stopped dead and went to this, all these bass things. I did a few Bach things that I'd been working on and learned, you know, and some things that I'd worked out in other songs that I was doing behind that people that hadn't noticed yet, you know, because it was in context of other songs. I just counted them back in, 2, 3, 4, and we ended the song, and that was basically the first time I ever did that.
And it went over.
Yeah, it worked really good. Hendrix did that. I mean, with the unaccompanied solos,
Sure.
he's the first guy I really heard doing unaccompanied solos.
Sure.
So it was kind of, he laid the groundwork for it, and.
Like Star Spangled Banner, things like that, you mean?
Yeah, things like that. We just go wailing away and stuff like that. And then after a while, I'd like be doing, you know, some of Mussorgsky's, you know.
Aha.
You know,
Right, pictures at an exhibition.
all little things like that, throwing all in the solo thing, and it was really funny because it was rare for guitarists to do it back then. For sort of bass player, people were completely. Some people didn't like it at all. Hey, we can't dance with this, you know. That's what, you know, those people eventually weeded away, and we just drew more of another kind of people.
They kind of went off to disco, huh?
Yeah, exactly. They tore the stage down, put a mirror ball up, and that was the end of that. But